I don't spend a lot of time thinking about death, but it is very interesting to think about it.
It's one of those things that if you want to live a life, a balanced life, and a life where you are only faced with things that you can control, you should contemplate on death more frequently, specifically during times of stress, right? Like that's one of the passages that we read in that The Art of Dying by Seneca. I spoke to a student. This is a great example. I spoke to a student the other day, and his daughter was sick, and he had a lot to do at work. And I coach him in mental discipline, right? And I asked him, I'm like, okay, but what's the worst that can happen? I'm like, is your daughter like, do we need to take her to the emergency room? And he goes, nah, she just has a cold. So whenever she's crying, that means she just want to be close to dad. I'm like, okay, cool. So what's the worst thing that can happen at work? You gonna get fired? He's like, no, I'm not. Like, somebody in my team will pick it up. I'm the team leader, so someone in my team will pick it up. I can just delegate it. I'm like, okay, so what are we worried about? What are we stressing for? Because you might die tomorrow. So this little itch of stress that is uncomfortable when you're sitting down, this little scratching, right? It's like, why are we worried about this if that is not such a big deal that you're just saying? What are we doing?
So what you were trying to coach him to there was to delete worry.
Exactly. You wanna zoom out, because you can get so caught in the turmoil and the cloud of stress. So it's almost like your room becomes polluted. It's why, like, when we work a lot, and it's like I can almost feel that our room gets polluted. It's like, open the windows, let in some light, let's go out, let's move around, let's move, because it opens up. You're really
good at that. Like, sometimes we need to change the environment, we need to open up the windows.
It opens up. You want to let in life, you want to let in energy, right? And that's I think that's a pro tip. I think more people should use that. I think more people should, when you're feeling stressed, you have to remember the following quote, is that motion creates emotion. So open up the windows, get some motion coming in, some fresh air, some sunlight, get out, move around, leave the room, especially if you're a team, because that collective consciousness gets polluted very quickly, but it's also very easy to change that with some motion.